Tom and Jerry. I saw the Tom and Jerry movie in the theater. It's a little bit worse than Raya. Speaking of Raya, I give Raya 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Do I recommend you go spend your hard-earned money to watch it? No, I do not. So Tom and Jerry follows Tom, who is in hot pursuit of Jerry. It also has some interweaving plot lines about a girl who lies about who she is to work at a hotel, and at said hotel, a Instagram couple is getting married, but the wife is having cold feet because she thinks her husband is less than immature. If you could tell from that summary, most of these the Tom and Jerry plot line doesn't even seem like it belongs in the movie it occupies. It's got the Raya situation of, both of these movies have the same problem where there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and there's too many people doing different things, and it doesn't even seem like a movie. I don't know if I said this about Raya, because like I said, my footage is getting jumbled, that there are so many different plot lines and confusing plot threads that it feels less like a movie and more like a collection of scenes that just serve to be a great value brand version of, I don't know, Avatar: The Last Airbender, as I said. But Tom and Jerry, it seems less like it's trying to do some clever interweaving of plot threads, and more as if it's just trying to fill runtime. Because I understand it's hard to write an hour and a half of Tom and Jerry just kind of fighting each other, but this just seems going to the extreme by introducing plot lines that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. But maybe I'm being too hard on this movie. The actors are fine in this movie, I think. Because, dang it, my dad's on Alexa. What was it? I lost my train of thought. The actors are good, but like Chloe Grace Moretz, who you might recognize from the remake of Carrie, is pretty good in this. Her acting is good, and the actors are good, but they don't have great scripts to work with. And also, sometimes it's very obvious you can tell they're not really talking to anything. That they're just talking to air, and they're adding in the things in post. And, if done wrong, especially in the CGI age we're in right now, it can look very stupid. Sorry, I'm not drinking a lot of water right now. I'm doing a lot of talking. Tom talks in this movie, at least like lip syncs or sings, and that's just always a bad idea. I mean, there's like three characters that should never talk: Snoopy, Michael Myers, and Tom or Jerry. And what else can I say? I remember when Tom and Jerry, or I remember when Chloe Grace Moretz was in the Carrie remake, and in our movie theater, there was this huge, 25-foot poster of her, covered in pig's blood. I remember that really scared me as a child. I've become more desensitized, but I remember that really scaring me. But yeah, her and Michael Pena and everyone else are good, I guess. But this just plays into the whole, it feels like it's banking on a recognizable name for money, and I hate when movies just do things for money. And the whole, and people will defend these by just saying it's a kid's movie, it's not for you. Well, I mean, I'm sorry for asking for any sort of, intelligence from the entertainment that I watch, dear me. I know I sound pretty mad. I'm just mad that, all of my technical issues that are going on. There's not much else I can say about Tom and Jerry. Other than, all that I've said. There's not really much remarkable about this movie. It's really just feels like a product. I can't say anything more. It feels like a product. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I'm giving Tom and Jerry a 3 out of 10. And now our last movie, Hop. I think Hop is pretty good, actually. It's a really cute movie. It's a really nice movie. I really enjoy it. It follows Evie, the up-and-coming Easter Bunny who feels out of place, runs away to Hollywood to meet Fred, who is a slacker who wants to get his life together. Meanwhile, a chick named Carlos, played by Hank Azaria, is trying to perform a coup d'etat for the Easter Bunny throne. I actually enjoy this one, despite my lack of enjoyment for Illumination as a whole. This one was pretty good. I think it captures the mythology and the sort of childlike wonder that comes with the Easter holiday. I think that the CGI is really good, and the acting is good by James Marsden, who plays Fred. But there's at some points, some places where you can kind of tell he's not really, talking to anything or seeing anything. So, yeah, there's still a couple of those. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think the look of Easter Island and the Easter Bunny factory is phenomenal. But upon rewatch yesterday, I realized that this movie is very similar to Elf. An icon of a major holiday goes to a major U.S. city because he feels out of place, and then goes to see someone who needs to improve their lives, helps them along the way, and then ends up having to save said holiday. You tell me. But it's a good movie. It's like the only Easter movie, and that's what really movie. I think the look of Easter Island and the Easter Bunny factory is phenomenal. But upon rewatch yesterday, I realized that this movie is very similar to Elf. An icon of a major holiday goes to a major U.S. city because he feels out of place, and then goes to see someone who needs to improve their lives, helps them along the way, and then ends up having to save said holiday. You tell me. But it's a good movie. It's like the only Easter movie, and that's what really throws people off. Is there's no preconceived notions about what this movie should be. It just exists. And I'm not talking about like Passion of the Christ or Last Temptation of the Christ. I mean like Easter as in the Easter Bunny. I mean, those movies are fantastic, but we're talking about the sort of mythology of the Easter Bunny. And so, as opposed to Halloween or Christmas, this has sort of freedom to do whatever it wants because there's no real bars it has to meet. And in some respects, that sort of gives it a license not to try it, like we've been talking about this whole video. And it does sort of have that air to it, where sometimes it feels less like a movie and more like a product, which I've talked about over and over. So, Hop, though those moments of the sort of cash grab, not trying air are there, they are few and far between. And this movie has just a great cast of like A-listers. Like there's Gary Cole, Elizabeth Perkins, James Marsden, Kaylee Cuoco, Russell Brand, Hank Azaria. I mean, these people were it in 2011. I remember seeing this in the theater around Easter time when I was 6, going on a field trip. And I remember really enjoying it. And this almost feels like a time capsule. Even David Hasselhoff cameos in this. It doesn't get more like 2000s than that. And yeah, so all in all, I really enjoyed this movie. I wouldn't like say it's the best movie to watch around Easter, especially with my Christian heritage. I would probably say something more akin to Passion of the Christ. But this movie is good. So don't let me discourage you from watching it. Don't let me discourage you from watching any of these, because my opinion is not worth more than the work it takes to make a movie. I'm just saying what I think here. So I think you should check these all out and come to your own conclusions. But as for Hop, I really enjoyed it, and I give it an 8 out of 10. As the only Easter Bunny movie that I can think of. So yeah, I'll be back soon with some more reviews of this movie, and or of more movies, movies that I've seen recently that I've never seen before. And yeah, so I'll try to do some more reviews, and we got some short films coming. So yeah, for now, I'm Jack Ellis, and this has been my new movie review series.